Every single one of you watching this video, whether you know it right now or not, have knowledge in your head that you could package up into your very own profitable online business, and you could do it all for less than $1,000. And I'm going to take you through in today's video the 4 steps that you would need to take with no prior experience to build a business online that makes you some money. Let's get into it. So the first thing we need is something to sell. And there are lots of different options that you've probably heard about online that you can sell to make some money. We're talking about low ticket physical products. We're talking about affiliate marketing, selling other people's stuff. What I find to be the best opportunity for me and for you is to package up our knowledge. We all have expertise, whether we realize it or not. We often completely misunderstand this word expert. We think that to be able to package up our knowledge into something that we can sell, that someone else would be willing to pay for, perhaps we need to be certified. We need to have been recognized for our achievements. We need to have been doing that thing and teaching it for the past 10 years. It's not the case. You are an expert in a particular topic if you're a few steps ahead of someone else. It's all subjective. If somebody else has been struggling with something in their life and are currently still struggling, and you have been through that process and have figured out some things that helped you to find a solution, then that person is wanting and willing to learn from you. So your first step is to sit down and think about all of the different life experiences that you've had, all of your hobbies, your passions. What is it that for you could be the thing that you're a couple of steps ahead of other people, and you could perhaps charge for that information and build a business around it. I have a coaching program where I teach people how to find this idea, how to package up and build a business around it. And we've got a client called Rob B, who, when he sat down and did this exercise, he figured out, actually, you know what? I'm a dude, I'm over 50, I'm in really, really good shape. Perhaps I could pass back my knowledge to other men in their 50s and 60s that are finding it hard to follow the regular young dudes on YouTube to learn how to get in shape. He's built his business and he's doing incredibly well, multiple 5 figures per month now with his fitness business. We've got Michaela Weaver. She used to struggle with her alcohol consumption, and she eventually got a handle on that. She transformed her life. No certified training, no 10 years experience, just she sorted her own life out. And she realized, perhaps I could pass that back to other women who are struggling with alcohol themselves. She's done this, she's built this business, and she got up to $40,000 in a month. And then we've got Neil and Jackie. They've been in the property world. They've just been quietly behind the scenes, investing in property, putting in tenants, doing rent-to-rent deals, and eventually they decided, perhaps other people would like to learn what it is that we're doing in the property world. And they just recently followed the steps I'm about to lay out for you, and they've started selling $7,000 packages. People paying $7,000 to just learn what they know about property. So once you've decided what your topic is going to be, now we need to decide what we're going to teach and how we're going to teach it. You've got a couple of options, but the first thing we need to do is this. Let's imagine this is your prospect. This is your potential customer or client, okay? They're struggling. They've got the problem that you used to have, and you're up here with the solution. And of course, there are some steps that that prospect needs to take to be able to achieve the result that you've got. So quite simply, what you need to do is take a pad of paper and write down all of the things that this person would need to learn and implement to get the result that you've currently got. And once you've got this page full of information, you now need to start to categorize all of that into a series of steps, and they need to be sequential. Do this as the first step, then this is the next step, then this is the next step, so on and so forth until they have the result. This will now become the order in which you teach this. You've got step number 1, step number 2, step number 3, step number 4, and step number 5. If it comes out at 4 steps, if it comes out at 6 steps, that's absolutely fine. And this is where you have your 2 options. The first option is that you teach this live on a one-to-one Zoom call with a client. This takes very little preparation. You don't need to build anything beforehand. You haven't got to record any videos, but it does take you being a bit gutsy, because for the first time, you are going to invite someone to do some coaching with you, and nothing's really prepared, but they're going to get access to a series of one-to-one calls with you on Zoom, where you're going to provide some value, find out what their situation is, give them some tailored advice, and also tell them what their next step is, which of course will be step 1. They go away, they implement that, they come back to you for their second call. You look at what they've done, look at what they've implemented, now give them their next step, step number 2. So on and so forth, over a series of calls, your client is getting the value they came for, you're earning some great money doing it, you're getting great experience on these calls, and you're able to launch it with minimal preparation. Now, that's the fastest route to market. Not everyone's going to be confident with that. If you would prefer to have some more preparation, then what you can do is essentially each one of these, you can record a few videos that teach that thing. Don't need to be over polished. You don't need expensive equipment. My first online training course, I recorded just on my laptop with those old Apple headphones before it was even wireless. So you can just record your screen, talking people through some things. Or grab your iPhone, put it on a $20 tripod from Amazon and record you talking to the camera. But now you have this series of videos, one that leads to the next, and your prospect pays you to get access to those videos, and perhaps you could then provide some additional support on top. And this brings us to our first expense from our budget of $1,000 to get all of this launched and making you money. You're either going to use Zoom, which is the platform you'll provide your one-to-one calls with a prospect, or you're going to record a series of videos and you need somewhere to host that. And I would recommend a platform called Vimeo. Either way, both of these platforms cost around about $10 to $15 a month. So very inexpensive to be able to launch an online program ready to sell. So now that we have something to sell, the second thing that we need is a vehicle to be able to present that offer to potential customers. And there are so many different options that people talk about online. Some people will say you just need a website. Build a website, put some fancy stuff on there, and fingers crossed, some people will come and find it and sign up to your product. That's terrible advice. There's loads of other types of marketing vehicles that you could use. The one that I absolutely love, that is most effective, most cost effective, and incredibly profitable is this. It's called a webinar. What we do is we go out there online and we find potential clients who might be interested in what it is that we have. I'll tell you how to find these people later on in today's video. And we invite them not to buy our product, not even to hear about our product. Instead, we invite them to a webinar presentation. So this webinar presentation will be about 30 to 40 minutes long. Now, you might be intimidated by that. You might think that you haven't presented before and what would you say? It's actually not that difficult to fill this content. I've got another video on this that I'll tell you about in just a moment. But essentially, the focus of this webinar is not to sell, is to provide value. In today's marketplace, the way that we attract potential customers and clients is not by being overly pushy and salesy, it's by providing value and letting the right people decide they want to work with you. So the lion's share of this webinar is going to be you just giving some of your top tips, introducing your topic to the market and seeing if it resonates with them. If you want to learn more about exactly what goes into a webinar presentation like this, I've done another video up here that you can go ahead and click on and I break it all down for you. But don't go just yet, we've got more to talk about. Firstly, how do we create one of these webinars? We need a webinar platform. There are lots online that you can choose from. I like one that's called Webinar. And essentially it's a way for you to house this webinar online somewhere and have people register to attend it. The cost for this software is about $99 a month, and they have a 30-day free trial. So you can have a whole month to go on there, play around with it, build your webinar, see if it's working for you. And if it's working, you can pay $99 a month. So now the next thing is, how are we getting people from the webinar to buy our product? Are we making an offer at the very end? No. What we're doing is, at the end of the webinar, we are simply inviting people to have a phone call with you. It's what we call a soft sell. We're not going to be pushing them to buy something at the end of the webinar. We're simply going to say, if today's presentation has been helpful for you, if you've enjoyed this content, if you'd like to have a conversation with me to see if some further help from me and some further coaching would be of interest, let's book in a call and have a chat, see if it feels like a good fit, and there I can tell you about what it is that I offer. It makes it far more comfortable for you to present it. It means that you can have a one-to-one conversation, and you can set all of this up completely automated. I like a software called Calendly. Costs just $12 a month. We'll link to all of this in the description box, and you can put a link at the end of your webinar with your availability. Prospects will see your calendar, they'll pick a slot that works for them, and completely automated, the meeting that you can have on Zoom will be scheduled. You'll be sent confirmation to your email. The prospect will be sent confirmation to their email, and you'll meet on Zoom at the appropriate time. As I mentioned, that software, Calendly, is $12 a month. Very, very cost effective. Now, if you're nervous about how that conversation might go and you want to feel as confident as possible to get a yes from the prospect at the end of the phone call and have them sign up to your product, I've got some resources for you. I've literally got frameworks for exactly what you need to say on that phone call to get a yes and land a client. Step one is called the push script. This is the first phone call that you'll have. This sets up the sale. If you just follow this framework and do exactly what I tell you to do at each step on the phone call, you'll have a very natural, very enjoyable conversation, but the prospect will be biting your hand off to join your new product. And then we've got part two. You have a day or two to let them think, and you have a think, and you jump on a second call, and this one's called the pull script. This is now where you pull the prospect in, and if you do and say all the things I tell you to do on this one, you will be able to get a yes at the end and land your first client. These resources are my completely free gift to you. There's a link in the description box. Go ahead and click on that. Tell me where to send them, and I'll get them straight over to you. So now that we have our vehicle, the third thing we need is what we call a marketing funnel. We've got the thing we're going to sell. We've got the vehicle, the way we're going to put it in front of people. Now we need a marketing funnel. A marketing funnel is the series of pages that will lead our prospect in the direction we want them to go and provide all of the different pages that they're going to be landing on in the process. And here's one I prepared earlier for you, because we're using a webinar as our vehicle, and there's some things that need to go on around that. We need a page that people can land on to register for the webinar. That's also going to build our email list. They're going to land on a confirmation page waiting for the webinar to start, to actually kick off. We can fully automate these webinars, by the way, but people are still going to register for them. Then we're going to have a confirmation email to confirm their registration and remind them to come back when the webinar starts. After the webinar has taken place, we'll have a series of emails that perhaps point people to a replay. If they missed it, they got a second chance to come and watch the recording. And both of these assets, the webinar itself and the recording, will both point to the page where they can book a call, and hopefully you'll speak to some potential prospects that will become clients. So what we need to achieve all of this is a piece of software, and I recommend one that does everything. There are so many softwares out there that will do little pieces of this. They might do these first two pages, and then you need another software for the replay. You need another software for the emails. There is a software called Funneler that I've got open right now, funneler.com, and this is an all-in-one software that does it all. Email, your pages, even your help desk. It can host your courses. Everything's done on this one platform. And here's an example, by the way, of a page that we built on Funneler, which would be our registration page. One of the most important pages in this entire process. If we can't get people to say yes to registering, then all of this is for nothing. And as you can see, here's a page where the full focus is just on reading this headline. I like the sound of the topic of the webinar. I'm going to click that button and I'm going to register. This is the type of page that you should put together as well. And the Funneler software has a bunch of amazing templates just like this that you can choose from. And in a couple of clicks, you can have your own page looking just like this. And the price to get started on Funneler, it's just $99 a month, and they even have a 14-day free trial as well. So you can get started on here for $100 a month. You can build all of this and get it ready to take to market. So now we've got our fourth and final thing that we need to achieve. We've got something to sell, we've got the vehicle we're going to use, we've got the marketing funnel to bring it all together. The fourth and final thing is traffic. How can we drive what we call traffic online? This is eyeballs, this is attention, this is getting the right people to see your marketing funnel, to then register to see your vehicle, the webinar, and of course have the chance to purchase the product that you have created. So if we come back over to our marketing funnel that we put together, right here at the very beginning is where we need to go and find some of these people that would be a good fit for our topic and to come and register for the webinar. Now, really, there are two types of traffic that you need to be aware of. You've got paid traffic and you've got free traffic, which is also known as organic traffic. Paid traffic is going to Facebook and YouTube and LinkedIn and signing up to their advertising platform and running an ad. Organic, free traffic is where you're not spending any money, but you're going to spend a heck ton of your time trying to produce content, make sure it's fitting the market, and somehow getting that content seen by people online. It's very, very challenging to do that. The answer for you to get started is paid traffic. You can go to a platform like Facebook, like YouTube, and run a paid ad campaign, and you can target exactly who it is that you want. They've done all the work for you. They've grouped all these people together, and you just pay a bit of money and say, that's who I would like to put my ad in front of, please. And then you can do that. There's a very specific process to scripting an ad campaign that you put in front of these people to bring them into your funnel. And we've recorded another video for you. You can link to it right up here, where Pete on my team walks you through an entire scripting process that will get these people to say yes to the webinar. So check that out when you're ready. But the big question I'm sure you've got on your mind is, well, how much are these paid ads going to cost me? Two answers. Number one, you can get started with about $100. You don't want to spend too much more than that, just to test out these ad campaigns, see if it's working, see if you get some registrants, and see if they're converting into customers. And secondly, and please understand, I'm not a financial advisor, you should not take my advice on this, but second thing is, you could think about putting that on a credit card. On a credit card, you have 30 days to pay off what you spend. You could run your paid ad campaigns through a credit card. No money has left your bank account. And you've got 30 days to turn that investment into a customer and use that money to pay off the credit card. And anything that is left over is, of course, yours to keep. So let's now go back to our 4 original steps and let's remind ourselves of the cost to achieve all of this. First, we need something to sell. We're either going to deliver this over Zoom one-on-one, or we're going to upload it to somewhere like Vimeo. Either way, they're both around about, let's say, 15 a month, but it can be as low as 10. The next thing was our vehicle, and we're going to use a webinar, and we need a webinar platform that's going to set all of that up for us, and that's $99 a month. And then thirdly, for our marketing funnel, we had 2 things we needed. We had Funneler, that's going to build all of our sales funnel pages for us, and we also had, and that was $99 a month, and then we had Calendly, which is $12 a month. That's a total of $111. And finally, we had our traffic that you could get started for about $100. However, if you decide to put it on a credit card, and if it's profitable on the very first run, then that would be completely free. So the topic of this video is how you could do all of this for less than $1,000. Well, this totals $225 a month. This is not including the free trials. If you include that, we're talking 4 to 5 months that you have with a budget of $1,000 to make this stuff work. Do you really think that if you were following a plan and you had months and months and months to build this stuff and get it launched, you couldn't at least make one sale? I think you've got a very good chance of doing so, particularly if you access my resources here on how to close those clients. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Go back from the beginning, take notes as you go. I think you've got a really good chance of having a crack at this. Here's the other videos that I mentioned over the course of today's training. If you enjoyed this video, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, join us here on the channel. We put out great new videos every single week, and I'll see you in the next one.